Good evening and thank you for joining us. Last night's fire at the Finnish Labour Temple sent shockwaves throughout the community. The World Heritage Site going up in flames filled downtown Port Arthur with smoke as Thunder Bay fire crews tackled the blaze from all four sides. We'll have several stories covering the event. Up first, Corey Nordstrom was on scene shortly after the fire broke out. Here's what it looked like last night.
It's a tragedy for locals. One of Thunder Bay's most iconic landmarks, the Finnish Labour Temple, spewing flames throughout the evening.
It's too early to tell an origin of the fire at the century-old building. All that's known at this point is that it broke out just after 7 o'clock, and fire crews seem to be tackling the roof of the Finlandia.
And the incident only got worse. Flames spread across the roof into the construction zone of the high-end apartments in the midst of being built. From there, fire crews worked diligently to save the rest of the upper level of the structure. Crowds gathered to see the temple up in smoke, including those who spent years trying to keep the Finlandia Association and Hoito afloat, bringing strong emotions to see the building in such condition.
We all have had our families here visiting from abroad, and it's that, Terry Fox, Kakabeka Falls, Silver Islet. You got a variety of things that I think this is really a staple of the community, and I think you're going to see a rejuvenation. Hopefully something can be put. I mean, that symbol of the turret up top is what the club is.
At least 2 aerial ladders were on scene, with multiple pumper trucks attacking the blaze from each side. Police were also on scene, setting a perimeter for firefighters to have room to do their job.
Thunder Bay Fire's doing a great job, but 120 years old wood, it's pretty dry. It's going to be kind of tough to see what can salvage. We won't have those answers for a couple days, I'm sure.
No injuries have been reported, and the story will be updated as more information comes available. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
Only a shell of the temple now remains on Bay Street. Fire crews were on scene overnight doing their best to suppress the flames, but embers continued to smolder today. And while the owner of the facility says he was shocked to hear the news of the fire, he hopes to rebuild the iconic structure. Mitchell Ringos has more on that.
Oh, look, Erica's tipping. Oh my God! Oh!
Despite the best efforts of fire crews, the iconic cupola that stood for over 100 years came down just after 11 o'clock Wednesday night. The silver beacon that was the turret now sits burned and broken near the front steps of the Hoito as the firefighters continue to shoot water into the Finnish Labour Temple. Fire investigators have suspicion of the origin of the blaze, but say it's too early to know for certain. Officials from the Office of the Fire Marshal and Thunder Bay Fire say it will take days to uncover what happened.
And with a 110-year-old building, wood frame construction, heavy wood frame construction, quite possibly, and I haven't really taken a good look at it, but even balloon frame construction as an example, it poses significant challenges. When the fire advances into voids in the building as an example, heavy fire loads, so definitely a significantly challenging fire for our firefighters to fight.
We may require heavy equipment, so bringing that in, and then determining the resources we need to deal with the building. By the time all that happens, the water that's in the building is going to be froze, so there's going to be a lot of challenges to face moving forward.
With the damages brought on by fire and heavy water used by firefighters, the temple is beyond repair. Building owner Brad McKinnon thought someone was just joking around when he was told of the fire, just months away from putting apartments on the market. But now they will have to tear down the 110-year-old building. But he will not give up on his initial dreams for the site.
We're not going to let this stop us or get us down. We'll tear it down, we'll rebuild, and we'll try and restore the building, bring it back to what it was, if at all possible.
Located in the basement of the building is the world-famous Hoito restaurant, also nearing the end of its renovations. Suppressive water made its way to the restaurant Wednesday night and froze, meaning it cannot be saved. Finlandia Cooperative Interim President Paula Hoppanen was in utter shock seeing the devastation caused by the blaze, but still wants to somehow keep the Hoito alive. The co-op will meet January 16th to discuss the future of the Hoito.
There's no reason to lose hope. and I think that our hearts go out to the owner. Our hearts go out to the Finnish community. We've all lost something today, but we can build on this.
Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Good to see that message of hopefulness there, but still hearts are broken over the destruction. The temple was a beacon to so many, an outpouring of love and the recounting of memories coming from local residents today. They're also still in shock. Here's what they had to say.
It's heartbroken, tragedy. I can't believe this. I've worked across the street up there, and this is crazy. Hurts to see this place up in flames.
It actually brings tears to my eyes. It was such a staple to our community for not even people of the Finnish culture. It was a great way to embrace it, and it's really tragic to see it in the state that it is.
We've seen it get, from the beginning here, rebuilt, and we'll rebuild it again. I'm sure, I guarantee it is still going to be part of our Thunder Bay culture.
Our electrician worked in it, and it would seem like it was just getting finished. It was going to be a new use, but at least it was going to be put to good use. But it's really sad to see a local icon go.
It's a little upsetting. The building's 100 years old or older, and I've been here for 20 years. And I've been in there so many times, and it's a monument.
Yeah, it's really tragic. The whole Thunder Bay, Bay Street area has been reviving, and this has been a central part of it. So it's pretty sad.
I mean, I'm sad. My mom cried this morning about it. My great-grandpa used to be the manager of the Hoito. But, we're Finn. We have Sisu, So today we mourn, but tomorrow we start rebuilding.
Well, turning to COVID-19 now, there are 2 new outbreaks in the city, one at St. Elizabeth's School where 2 people have tested positive for the virus. There's also an outbreak at St. Joseph's Hospital on 5 North. 3 people there have tested positive. This comes as cases continue to rise across northwestern Ontario. Nearly 2/3 of the infections are coming from the western part of the region. The Northwestern Health Unit is reporting 35 new cases today. 20 come from the Kenora Health Hub, 7 come from Dryden, 4 are in the Red Lake Hub, 3 come from Fort Francis, and there's 1 each in Sioux Lookout and Emo. There are now 132 active cases across the NWHU's catchment area. The Thunder Bay District Health Unit is reporting 20 new cases today. 16 are in the Thunder Bay area, 3 come from district communities, and 1 is on a First Nation. 1 case comes as a result of a household contact, while 4 are from close contacts outside the home. 5 cases are related to travel outside of the region. 10 exposure sources are still unknown at this time. There are now 70 active cases across the TBDHU. Supply of the Pfizer vaccine and rapid antigen tests continue to lag behind the demand across the Thunder Bay District. The medical officer of health says those shortcomings will last into the new year. Dr. Janet DeMille is pleased, however, with the district's latest booster numbers as residents line up to get their 3rd jab. Alex Flood reports.
As of Tuesday, over 24,000 residents in the Thunder Bay District had received their booster shot. One of those residents is the medical officer of health herself. Dr. Janet DeMille got her 3rd dose Thursday. While she's glad to see such a high demand in boosters, she admits it's been challenging to match the community's appetite for a 3rd jab.
If there's anything I'm not completely happy about is that there's a large demand and we can't yet meet that just because of sort of capacity. But we've ramped up this clinic. It's got longer hours. We've got a lot of healthcare providers helping us as well as support staff, so that we can run this clinic for longer hours.
The booster demand has resulted in a nationwide shortage of Pfizer, and while Thunder Bay is unable to order any more until January, there's still plenty of Moderna doses available. Rapid tests have also been difficult to acquire. The approaching holidays, paired with the high number of active cases, has inflated the need for testing. DeMille says these struggles have been felt across the district.
That there are just, some details being worked out around supply and the distribution, and It just needs, better coordination and stuff. But I think there's also supply issues given, the rapid rise of Omicron. The demand, is exceeding that supply right now.
If you've only been vaccinated with Pfizer, DeMille wants to assure the community a second or third dose of Moderna is completely safe and recommends not waiting longer than necessary to book a vaccine appointment. Alex Flood, TBT News.
More on those supply issues. A pop-up meant to hand out free rapid antigen tests at Intercity Shopping Centre has been cancelled. The event was scheduled for 9:30 Friday morning, but mall officials say they recently received a call from the Ontario government informing them that the shipment of tests wasn't going to arrive in time. There's no word on a makeup date just yet. Ontario has smashed its previous record for new COVID cases with 5,790 new infections today. That's nearly 1,000 cases more than the previous high, which came more than 8 months ago. As John Musselman tells us, even in the GTA, many are waiting for hours in long lines to get their third shot.
The lineup stretched around the building. It's been this way for more than a week as anxious residents come out to get a booster shot. This clinic, operated by Humber River Hospital near the 401 and Weston Road, opened at 10 a.m., but people began lining up hours earlier.
I come in 3 o'clock in the morning, now it's closed. Very, very cold in the morning.
This could have been done weeks ago. The Ford government had the opportunity to plan for this. They didn't plan for it because the plan was to not plan as usual.
This was talked about 3 months ago. Booster shots were talked about 3 months ago and they ignored it.
Booking an appointment, we have an appointment for a couple months from now, so would prefer to get it sooner even if it means waiting in line.
Honestly, it was the east for me. I know it would be difficult for me to find a certain appointment, so coming here was easy.
I tell people it is a marathon that they have to run. It's not a sprint. They are very happy to serve the community because we are doing a good cause to contain the virus.
As Omicron cases surge, people say they want the booster to protect themselves and their families. The Ontario Science Table estimates that cases involving the variant are doubling on average every 3 days. The City of Toronto is ramping up efforts to get shots in arms.
It is why overall we've been able to ramp up Team Toronto's vaccination capacity from 400,000 to 1.2 million doses per month. And that is a part of our Toronto Omicron action plan.
And the province has reopened a mass vaccination clinic at the International Centre in Mississauga. The clinic will operate 7 days a week. It will offer a limited number of drop-ins. The majority will be by appointment only, and you should book through the provincial portal. The goal is to administer 19,000 shots a day. And despite the surge in cases, the number of people in ICUs remain below 170. Health experts say the concern is rising case counts could lead to a spike in hospitalizations. Staff at the Humber River Hospital Clinic hope to administer 1,500 shots today.
I'm a service worker. I work in a kitchen, so with everything going on, it makes me feel a bit safer for me and my coworkers. And
pretty efficient. I tried going to one of those GoVax buses, and it was a disaster. Things move really quickly here. They're really well organized.
City of Toronto says clinics will be open Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's.
A bidding war to take over the largest stakeholder in the Ring of Fire has ended. Australian mining upstart Wyloo Metals already owned the majority of shares in Noront Resources and is now the sole owner for a deal valued at nearly $620 million. Noront's high-grade Eagle's Nest deposit includes nickel, copper, platinum, and palladium. Highly sought after, the world's largest mining company, BHP, chose not to match Wyloo's latest offer of $1.10 Canadian per common share after a 6-month back and forth. In other news in the Ring of Fire, a study into a transportation system for chromite by Canada Chrome Corporation, a KWG subsidiary, is complete. The report for a Railveyor tramway costs the zero-emissions system at $657 million US. KWG has also formed a trust for Matawa and Mishkegowuk First Nation members with a focus on mining infrastructure for the Ring of Fire. Thunder Bay Police have arrested 4 people in connection with a home takeover on Syndicate Avenue North. They were allegedly using the residents to deal drugs. Police entered the home just after 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers seized suspected cocaine, crack cocaine, fentanyl, oxycodone, and illegal cannabis, as well as cash and drug trafficking paraphernalia. The 4 suspects, 1 from Toronto and 3 locals, have been remanded into custody. A 71-year-old Saskatchewan man is facing a number of charges after Nipissing OPP seized nearly 12,000 cartons of unmarked cigarettes. Last Friday, around 4:30 in the afternoon, officers stopped a westbound vehicle on Highway 1117 in Nipissing. Officers found and seized 11,900 cartons of unmarked cigarettes from a trailer. The driver has been charged with possession of proceeds of crime over $5,000, possession of unmarked cigarettes, and possession for the purpose of sale. Nipissing OPP Sergeant David Moskal credits the work of several agencies involved.
Some real interagency cooperation with this seizure, in that Ministry of Finance and the Broadview RCMP in Saskatchewan all provided input into this investigation, and it just shows how we have to use multi-jurisdictional and multi-agency partners to get our work done.
The accused was released and is scheduled to appear in Nipissing court in February. With the holidays upon us, lottery officials want to remind parents that their products are strictly for adults. An OLG spokesperson says items like instant tickets are a form of gambling and aren't suitable gifts for minors. They say while they make nice stocking stuffers for adults, scratch-offs and instant win tickets aren't appropriate for kids and younger teens. Ontario law states you must be at least 18 years old to purchase tickets, play along, or claim prizes. OLG spokesperson Tony Batoni says it's been an issue for decades, and he's calling on parents to break the trend.
Much as they look really cool in the stores, but we always try to remind grandma, grandpa, aunts, and uncles though that these lottery tickets are for adults as well too. So it's always a great idea for these lottery tickets, but really these are not gifts for kids.